In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play acoustic guitar like Phil Wickham. So if you've been listening to Christian music for a little while or however long, you know that Phil Wickham's definitely got to be one of the most, probably like biggest, most prominent worship leaders, songwriters, and also acoustic guitar players. He's one of the most probably like dynamic acoustic guitar players within Christian music that really I can think of. I might be missing some people, but I'm going to show you just a couple of tips, things that he does a lot to make his playing and leading on the acoustic guitar more dynamic, more of a full sound, and just some of the tips and some of the things that he does that makes him just an awesome an acoustic guitar player. So hang tight, and we're going to go through that. All right, so I'm going to give you 4 things that Phil Wickham does just a ton in his acoustic guitar worship leading and playing that can help you play like him and help you improve your guitar playing in general. So the first thing is, if you watch some of his videos, you watch some of his acoustic performances, he plays a lot in the key of E. So I did a lesson on some of these chords a little while back. So you have the key, the E chord, you had the A chord, the B chord, the C sharp minor chord, that E over G chord. So he does a lot playing in the key of E, using these chords. And just a side note, he usually tunes his guitar down a little bit too, which isn't really one of the tips I was going to tell you, but he usually tunes his guitar down like a half step or a full step, but you can just disregard that. It doesn't really apply unless you're messing around in different tunings. So he's usually always just kind of, not always, but a lot of times you'll see him playing these chords in the key of E. He also plays chords, alternative chord voicings in the key of E. So like instead of playing this E up here, he might play this E chord right here, or this E chord down here. He's always floating up and down the fretboard with different chords and different chord voicings. So I did a lesson maybe a couple months ago on those alternative chord voicings in the key of E. Some of the ones that he uses a lot, like this. So this is an E chord, this is an A chord, this is an A chord. You have the different type of E up here. You have this as an A chord. You have this as a C sharp minor chord. I'm kind of just flying through these just because I've done lessons on these. I'll link those up top and in the description. But so he uses chords in the key of E a lot, both these traditional chords in the key of E, as well as some of these alternative chords in the key of E. The second thing he does a lot, way more than anyone that I've watched and that I've seen, I've listened to him for a long time, he really does just an awesome job of like focusing on like dynamic, like not dynamic, but focusing on percussive strumming, focusing on the bass notes and the bassier notes of the chords. So what I mean by that is you'll see him a lot of times, like he's just got a really smooth strum, which we'll get to in a little bit, but when he's strumming, like he'll really just kind of focus on like the top 3 notes, like these top 3 strings here. And like that's a really good tip, especially if you're just leading by yourself with an acoustic. You know, when you're strumming, you don't always have to be strumming like this. You know, that's really a quick way to not add any dynamics to your guitar playing. So he does a lot of that. He focuses on the bass notes of the chords, whether it's in the key of E, whether the chords are in the key of E, or he plays still sometimes in those G shapes. He plays in the C shapes. I've seen a lot of his stuff he's done probably at his house over the last couple of years in the pandemic. He, even if you're playing in the key of C or he's playing in the key of C, he's still like really kind of focusing on those bassier notes, kind of giving it percussion during the maybe the first verse, and then adding a full strum in the chorus. So a couple of songs just to give you an example for that. The Secret Place. It's a couple years, maybe 4 or 5 years old, but it starts off, he really focuses on these bass notes. I think I have the chords for this pulled up. Yeah, so let's see, E over G, A. So, where will you run, my soul? Where you gonna run when rails run dry? When the wind starts to blow, how you gonna keep its flame alive? In the fading light when night is breaking, I know you will always be waiting. You'll always be there. So as you could tell, I definitely didn't do it perfectly. Haven't really played this song for a while, but he's really kind of adding some dynamics with focusing on those bass notes and then mixing up his strumming. Another song that comes to mind that he really does this on is Great Things. And I don't really remember the lyrics, but this will just show you that you can incorporate this into your playing, even in chords in the key of G. Like I was just saying, it doesn't have to be those chords in the key of E. So, come let us worship the King. Yeah, so, come let us worship the King. Come let us bow at his feet. He has done great things. See what our Savior has done. Great things. And then in the chorus of that song, he'll get more, kind of open up that strumming a little bit. So really, it's just a really awesome way to add dynamics and just kind of add different layers to your leading if you're just leading with an acoustic guitar at like a Bible study or a church worship set, whatever it may be. So that would be the second thing. He really focuses a lot on those bass notes and just kind of getting that little just deeper, percussive sound. And then the third thing is with his strumming. Usually you'll see he does a lot of like strumming in the 16th notes. So up, down, up, down, like just, I'm not a music theory guy, so I'm not going to be able to explain it to you, but it's not one of those smooth, like lazy, like, down, down, up, up, down, down. He's really kind of working those bass notes and really just kind of like, got that rhythm going on. So for a lot of his faster songs, like Great Things that I just played, it's just the 16th note strumming. This is Amazing Grace. Breaks the power, sin and darkness, love is mighty. He's just got that just flow going with his wrist and with his right strumming. So one thing that may help you is getting a thinner pick. I use a super thin pick, and it's just like for most of my playing and when I'm playing guitar, I usually just use a thin pick because it's easier strumming wise, especially when you're strumming faster and strumming those 16th notes. And really anything, the pick has more give and it has more bend, which if you had just a super rigid, thick pick for playing, just, you know, we're just doing rhythm acoustic. We're not doing like deep, intricate picking patterns, which you would want a thicker pick for. So to use a really thick pick when you're doing rhythm acoustic, it's just not a good idea. It's just it's gonna, there's very little room for error as opposed to using a thin pick. It gives a little bit when you strum, so it gives you more freedom. So going back to our third point here, strumming. For the faster songs, he uses those 16th notes a lot. For slower songs that he doesn't do, it seems like he doesn't a lot of times do like, let's say if we're doing the song You're Beautiful, so when he plays a lot of slower songs, it's really open, really smooth, really kind of flowy. There's no like super tight down, down, up, down, down, up. So like for this song, so it's not like rigid, it's just really smooth and really open and really flowy. So that's kind of just a breakdown of what he does strumming wise for faster songs, slower songs. And then really just the fourth tip is just we put all these pieces together and he's just got incredible dynamics when he leads, when he's playing these chords in the key of E. He's playing different chord voicings, so it doesn't always sound the same. He's playing those big open chords. He's focusing on those kind of that percussive bass note, and then adding fuller strums for like the chorus. And then he just mixes up his strumming for fast songs, for slow songs. And when you add that all up together, you have a really, really awesome acoustic guitar player. So I hope these tips helped you out. Whether you want to play like Phil Wickham or you just want to become a better acoustic guitar player, these tips will definitely help you in your journey. So if you have any questions, definitely just leave a comment as usual. Let me know what you have a question on or what you're confused about. And yeah, I hope this helps you guys out. Love y'all. See you soon.